So, I'm Rishi Nayar. I'm with a company called Ellucian, and I guess I'm the only one here who's on the other side, which is we provide the systems that should supposedly be making all this easier for you. Again, I'm very happy to be here in this August gathering of educators and administrators. And to pick up on the points that everybody mentioned, right? And an SOP is an intention, right? It states your intent. The system is what makes it real, that turns it into an experience. And then, of course, the governance part, which is the third thing we'll talk about, is what measures, whether the intention was achieved or not, right? And so when we look at, what breaks, certainly all the points that were mentioned, right? If an SOP is static and it doesn't get updated, people are left wondering, like, what is the intention behind this? When, trust is broken because there is there's a process that needs to be followed. When your SOP and your whole system is document-based instead of being workflow-based, that is when you get these sort of situations where the student is running around pillar to post trying to understand what to do next. Right? So when I look at systems, our goal is, a system needs to be agile, it needs to be flexible, because policy will keep changing. There's no point trying to fight that, because policy, governance, all these will keep changing. So the system must be able to change rapidly. When changes happen, those changes have to be communicated rapidly, right? And so if today we are in this pull mode where the stakeholder, because if you think of it in business terms, it is an ecosystem. It is an ecosystem. It has different stakeholders. There's students, there's faculty, there's administrators, there's the institution, right? Which needs, from their perspective, it is a business venture, and that needs to be a viable venture. If you have to do all those things, then how can we change so that we remove friction from the system rather than create more friction? So removing friction is what the system can do. So the system really is the glue, right? It is the enabler that can ensure that all these different and people with completely different motivations are all able to succeed in what they are trying to do. So if it could be simple things like, hey, if a student has to make sure they finish registration, they go make a payment. Can the system find out that, hey, there is a payment pending? Let's nudge the student. If the university is looking at completion rates, how many students graduated, and but we can actually see, because in your advisor, if the system can flag to them, this person who had a good grade, GPA, is now starting to fall, they are not attending classes, can the system find out and tell the advisor rather than the advisor having to figure out who's not succeeding, because everybody is busy, right? So can we reduce? So if the system can flag that, hey, please set up an advising session or a counseling session with this student, I mean, it reduces that cognitive load for all parts of all the stakeholders, and that is the key part. And no one has mentioned this yet, but I'll put it out there. So AI is what is going to help with those things, right? Because it is perfectly suited for these sort of activities, right? You just take the day-to-day mundane tasks out. It can monitor systems 24/7. It can find out who's doing what. It can find out what is pending. And so those are the kind of systems that we are trying to build, where it is actively working for every stakeholder, but because it is working, it is invisible. So that's the sign of a good system. When no one notices it there, because it has removed all friction, that is what a good system can help, and that is how it can help to drive your SOPs.